non-humans.
Antes de ir no barão, tem uma questzinha aqui que ficou de aparecer depois, que foi essa aqui, ó. Tá vendo? Vamos lá antes.
Run, leg it!
An illusion.
You didn't bring but a single scurvy run. No wonder.
What are you doing here?
What? The sun flying from the moon? We're making offerings to the All-God, clearly.
You too can seek his aid. That's if you got fitting offerings. He scorned ours, then cursed the old village.
The All-God, you call him. First I've heard. Is some new deity?
Nay, 'tis ancient, revered by our forefathers. They say it were like this. Roslav of Oriton came here to gather brushwood. And suddenly, for no reason, a bush burst into flame. Then, Roslav heard a voice from the ground, demanding offerings and obedience.
We've been coming here since then, bearing gifts, in exchange for which the All-God watches over us, keeps us from evil.
Mm-hmm. Plain to see that. So, what's wrong with your offerings?
You needn't mock us, you can see right well we brought scraps. Before the war, I wouldn't give this such to me hounds. But what can we do? Such are the times.
And they're like to get worse. All-God said if he don't get a rafter of bacon and a barrel of beer at least, the rivers will fill up with frogs and locusts or some such will devour the harvest.
I could intercede on your behalf with this All-God of yours. Got a feeling we'd come to an understanding.
Well, I suppose it can't hurt to try. To speak with him, you've to stand before the altar and cry out, "All God, help a poor wretch in need." Who knows, he might just listen to a foreigner.
Vamos ver esse All-God.
Oh, All-God, help a poor wretch in need. Pretty please.
How dare you disturb my divine rest, mortal?
I dare disturb it because I want your divine self to lift the, curse you cast. Those peasants really don't have.
They must bring worthy offerings or they shall face drought, driving hail, earthquakes, avalanches. I have spoken.
Avalanches? Here? How would that work? No answer from the All-God. Fine. We can finish our conversation when I find him. Voice came from underground.
O ser humano tem uma necessidade de acreditar em divindade, né, velho? De acreditar em alguma coisa.
More like vinegar. Someone drank it anyway. Could follow the scent. There's something here. Need to use the eye.
Aqui é ilusão, ó.
What? Who dares disturb my divine being?
Geralt of Rivia. Pleasure. Expected the All-God to be corporeal in form, but never thought he'd be corpulent. Fattened up nicely at those peasants' expense.
Expense? Expense? Not a word about the help I give in return. Blessings, absolutions, enlightened advice. Believe me, these folks need all of it. I'd watch over them still if they fulfilled their end. But lately they offer these pathetic scraps.
That they steal from the mouths of their children, and to make matters worse, you cast a curse on them.
And I'll not lift it till they bring me worthy offerings. I'm to settle for curds and whey? Not a chance. And you can tell them that.
Been in this hole long?
For a century or so. One winter I found shelter here. Built a fire so large the flames leapt through the crack, lit the bushes above. I coughed from the smoke, and suddenly heard a peasant. A voice out of nowhere, he called. A miracle. Thus, I became a god.
Parasite, more like.
Maybe so. But what of Freya and Melitele then, Demanding prayers and offerings, giving naught in return? I talk at least.
Cara, aqui funciona da seguinte forma. Você pode matar ele, tá? Só que assim, ele não tem nenhum loot absurdo, nada desse tipo. Ou então você... e se você matar ele, os caras lá em cima ficam super insatisfeitos, pô. Eles não gostam, não. Pra você ver, né? Ou então você pode pedir pra ele fazer oferendas mais simples. E aí os caras te agradecem lá e é isso. Eu não vou matar ele não, velho.
Listen here, Lord Ass. You're gonna be satisfied with what you get, or I'll feed you to the ravens.
Plowing reformers. No, fine, fine. I'll sup more modestly. But just till the end of the war, not one day longer.
O nome desse bicho é Silvano. A gente encontra outro desses depois.
Anything new?
Talk to your old god, face to face.
And will he show us mercy?
He will. Promise to be pleased with whatever you bring.
I told you. I told you
Huh?
the All God's merciful, understanding. Thanks, Witcher.
Oh, one last thing. Did you know there's a crypt beneath this hill? I want to take a look sometime. Architecture's fascinating.
Vamos deixar, né? Se eles tiverem o mínimo de curiosidade, eles descobrem o que é. Vamos lá. Vou falar com o Barão agora. Aqui eu acredito que já dá pra matar já, mas eu vou fazer isso num episódio específico. Que eu exploro. Aí eu vou ali.
Lightning strike?
Salva já. Tá pegando fogo, bicho!
Castle's on fire!
Caramba, botou fogo de sábio. Vou vender um de tempo. Quer dizer, dá? Ah, não, nem dá.
Oswin! Where's Oswin? Anyone seen him?
Believe I saw him heading to the stable.
What?
Fire. You blind? Nobody willing to put it out?
Ain't that simple. Most are afraid. Baron flies into a rage. He takes no prisoners.
My brother's in the stable! We've got to save him! He'll burn alive! Him and the horses!
See what I can do.
Hurry now! Quick!
Isso pega. Vou precisar do ar. Lembra que a ar apaga fogo.
Gotta hurry.
Corre, filho. Vai na frente, pô.
Over here! Can't get out! Roof collapsed!
Acho que eu tenho que liberar isso aqui. Não vai não, velho. Tem que abrir. Lembrei.
We've a hero in our midst. You've earned yourself a barrel of Lyrian.
I know your wife miscarried. Was that before or after you beat her to a pulp?
What the fuck are you suggesting?
Don't play me for a fool. You'd been beating them for years. Finally, they'd had enough and fled. Sound about right?
Ah! You what? Oh, plowing smash.
They ran for you, didn't they?
Ai, tô preso.
Frick!
Ai, filha da puta. Ai. Roda.
We need to talk.
Badass.
Sit down. You beat them.
I never laid a finger on Tamara. Not once.
And on Anna.
That's another story. She always knew how to spark my ire.
Your wife. How'd she make you angry? Too much salt in the soup? Socks never darned?
20 years we've known each other. She's seen me drunk and sober. She was there to greet me when I returned the victor. She was there to patch me up in defeat. Like no other, she knew where to press, where to pinch, so it would hurt.
You beat her? For that? For criticizing you?
Oh, Witcher, you haven't a clue, have you? Well, perhaps I shall tell you about it one day. One day, but not today.
Expect me to believe you are a loving father to Tamara after that scene in the courtyard?
You're free to believe whatever you wish, but she was always the apple of my eye. She had the run of the place, ask anyone. She'd ride the horses, hunt with the men, at times join them on their rounds. And they'd send for her when I flew into a rage, for only she could calm me.
Make it sound like she led a charmed life. If that's the case, why'd she run?
I'd hardly need you if I knew.
You knew they had run away from the start.
Yes, I knew.
Why didn't you tell me? Wasted my time.
Say I had. Say I'd said I had troubles. Couldn't control my wife, my daughter. What kind of flaccid prick would you take me for?
Tell me everything you remember about the day they fled. The truth this time.
I'd been soaking myself 3 days straight. Anna came to me, said they were leaving. I begged them to stay. She refused to hear it. I tried to stop her, She wriggled like an eel. We struggled. She fell. Last blasted thing I remember. Woke up in the morn, breeches heavy with my own piss. A large bump on my head. Sadly, they were gone. Know what that's like, Witcher? No. How the fuck could you? I was left with nothing. Nothing! Only the bottle.
Signs of a fight in the room. Hole in the wall, wine all over the landing. Was that you?
Aye. We tussled. She tried to whack me on the noggin with a candlestick, but kept missing. Hit the wall and the pillar instead. I staggered backwards onto the table, spilled the wine, slipped and tumbled. Anna used that moment to flee. She rushed down the stairs, still clutching that damn candlestick. I caught her on the landing. We fell. I thought I had her. Then she turned and smacked me in the head. I blacked out. Don't know what happened next. When I came to, I was alone.
Tamara present for all this? She see you quarrel?
Through the doorway, perhaps. She didn't enter the room. Shame, too. Things might have turned out differently. The sight of her always calmed me.
What happened next?
Next, it only got worse. I awoke at sunset, not knowing how many days had passed. Thought it was all a ploughing, drunken nightmare. And then I went to the bedchamber, but Anna was not there. Instead, there was blood everywhere. I knew she'd miscarried. My breath short, my throat locked. I neared the bed and saw it. It lay there, a tiny thing, defenseless, on bloodied sheets, dead. And it was my doing.
Maybe you're doing, maybe not. But that amulet she wore could be important. Or maybe the fact that she lost it. What did you do with the child?
What was I to do? Took it out and buried it.
Just like that?
Damn you! I gave no thought to a funeral. It was a horror. I wanted it to end. That child had been my dream. I told Anna, the little one, our little one, to make things right. Yet she died before she could be born. Understand, Witcher? My child was dead.
Get hold of yourself. Men like you, when they break down, look downright pathetic.
You're a heartless bastard.
Mutations worked then. But here's the good news. Your dead child might help us find the one who's still alive. And your wife.
What? How?
Sometimes miscarried fetuses, if they don't get a proper burial, turn into botchlings.
Into fucking what?
Fucking what?
A cursed creature that draws strength from killing pregnant women. Once it's strong enough, it attacks those who scorned it.
But how? How does it know?
Blood ties. They're a strong bond. A bond I want to use to find your family.
How?
One of two ways. Legends claim you can bury a botchling under the family's threshold, perform a ritual and turn it into a lubberkin. That's a sort of, hob, a guardian spirit that could lead me to your family.
And the other way?
We kill it and draw some blood. Take that to the Peller and he does the rest.
Do not kill my child. It's suffered enough already. Lift the curse that it may finally rest in peace.
Still not sure what to do.
Whatever you decide, we must put an end to my child's suffering.
Whatever we do, we gotta find the botchling first.
I'll show you where I buried her, and I'll dig the grave at my threshold.
If it turns out we can't transform the botchling into a lubberkin, they can bury us in it. Handy either way.
Vamos lá.
The sooner we resolve this, the better. Best do it tonight, at midnight.
Then wait here with me. Near midnight, I'll take you to where I buried her.
Get word to the common folk. Ought to stay in their homes tonight and draw a line of salt outside their doors. And try to sober up.
Do I take a shovel to dig up the grave?
Take it. You'll need it, but not for that.
A bit further. Follow me.
É. Fala de acho.
You give the child a name?
No. Why would we?
Mistake. Names are powerful seals.
Here's the spot.
Chose a lovely spot.
Damn it, will you relent? I'm ploughing now I've done wrong.
Good. The grave's dug up and empty.
What's that mean?
Botchling's on the prowl.
Look,
Eu vou escolher salvar ele, tá? Fazer a maldição.
Take it in your arms, quick.
and if it goes Garrity, it'll bite us in the arse before we know it.
Keep screaming and it will turn rabid. It's calm for now.
Bloody hell. What happens when it gets ploughing restless?
It'll bite through your jugular, and you'll bleed to death before I can help. Tell me if it starts wriggling. I'll calm it with magic. Pick it up. Take it in your arms.
Merciful gods!
Back to the fortress.
What? With this?
As I recall, you were the one who wanted to test the old legends, change it into a lubberkin.
Oh, fuck.
Bora, rapaz. Não vou salvar não, ó. Essa missão é dificinha, velho. Eu vou até beber um elixir aqui. Deixa eu ver o que eu tenho. Aumenta a intensidade de sinal em tempo dublado. Limita significativamente a duração de nocaute, hipnose totalmente cegueira. Aqui é da aparição e do grifo. Vou usar esse aqui. Aí ó, Elixir ele fica ativo por um tempo, tá vendo? E aí você ganha o efeito dele, sei lá qual for. Mas você vê que não dá pra usar muitos, porque um deles já ó, quase metade da toxicidade.
Show me what you got. Specters. Botchling scent attract.
Do something!
Tô num péssimo lugar, né? Ai! vem.
Pest take me! He's thriving something fierce!
Fica...
Quiet now. But what do you want to do with it?
Me? Nothing. This is your job. Told you, gotta bury it under the threshold. If the tales are true, by tomorrow it'll be a lubberkin. From then on, it'll watch over your house and help me find your family.
Vou botar mais óleo. Aparece mais espectro aqui.
I'm coming. Need to hurry.
On with it! We'll not wait till he burns. Squirming again!
A estratégia de luta contra esses espectros
Hold it!
é fácil. Basta você jogar o Order no chão e esperar eles virem. O que é que eles vão fazer? Eles vão desaparecer e aparecer na sua frente dando uma sequência de golpes.
It's
Aí você tem que esquivar, terminar,
but with Anna around.
esperar terminar essa sequência de golpes e aí você ataca ele. A primeira vez que eu vim aqui eu morri tanto, velho. Aqueles espectros todos ali.
What now?
Repeat after me. By the powers of earth and sky.
By the powers of earth and sky.
By the world that was to be your home.
By the world that was to be your home.
Forgive me, you who came, but who I did not embrace.
Forgive me. You who came, but who I did not embrace.
I name thee, say her name, and embrace thee as my daughter.
I name thee Daya, and embrace thee as my daughter.
Good. Now bury the body.
What now?
In 1 day's time, Dea should turn into a lubberkin. I'll stay here and wait. You go home.
I'll wait with you.
Out of the question.
But that's my child. And the guilt, the responsibility for all this lies with me.
Time for parental impulses? It's long past. Besides, nothing else you can do here.
But
No buts. Just Witcher's work left to do here. Gotta wait a day and a night for the botchling to turn into a lubberkin. That's it. Go home. And try not to drink yourself stupid again.
É, velho, barril. Eu acho que a gente tem a opção de... Deixa eu ver aqui. Eu vou primeiro... Vou dar uma resetadinha nas poções. Aí você... Ah, tá. Só sentar e esperar que já aparece. Era pra ter salvo, velho. Vacilei.
By blood's power I summon you. With your name I beseech you. Hear my call and arise, Dea. Lead me to those bound to you by blood.
Vamos seguir o protego.
That's it, Roach.
Mais rápido, protego. Hurry up.
The sergeant took a lashing from the barrel.
Sure wasn't lavender they kept in there. Might be worth looking around, though. Horseshoe. No way a pitch burner could afford a horse. Horseshoe. No way a pitch burner could afford a horse.
Sem querer.
A bracelet. One of them must have dropped it. Clothing. They change in here? Both were here. I'm going the right way. Wants to show me something more.
Endriuga?
Still worth a closer look. Should examine that horse carcass.
Ele também explode ela pra trás, ó. Vem você também, bora. Agora eu posso investigar a região sem interrupções.
What do we have here? Bones have been here a while. Chewed on the saddle. Necrophages will eat anything these days. Giant claws. Wasn't a necrophage made these marks. Horseshoes missing. Is this the animal that lost one in the smokehouse? Head torn clear off. Takes incredible strength. Must have been attacked by a powerful beast. Surprised him. Hope they got away. Trail goes on. Good thing it doesn't end here.
Elas pegaram um cavalo e o cavalo foi atacado por alguma coisa. Ô louco, pelo amor de Deus, cara.
Fisherman's hut. Seems she wants me to take a closer look.
Entra assim na casa do cara.
Who's that? The room. Go on now.
What you seek here, sir? Our hut's out of the way. Woeful. We has nothing. We knows nothing.
Just need information. Looking for 2 women. The Bloody Baron's wife and daughter.
Not a soul have been here, sir.
Sure? Not even passing through? Daughter's medium height, about 20. Her mother's thin, about 40. Seen them?
That sir came at night, right, Mummy?
Hey.
Quiet, boy.
Where'd the girl go? Your son said enough. No point in playing dumb anymore.
Sorry, sir, but you don't look like one of her father's men.
Because I'm not. I'm looking for Tamara and her mother. I need to know if they're alive and safe.
Tamara is high. She's to my brother's place in Oxenford. But Mrs. Anna, that's another tale. Though anywhere's better than to Crow's Perch with a Baron.
Why?
Cause he beat her, sir. Beat Mrs. Anna, I means. Everyone knew, but not a one lifted a finger for to stop it.
What happened to Tamara's mother?
Twere like this. I was awaiting in the old smokehouse with horses. Cold as hell and so dark, couldn't see past 2 ells in front of you. Moon had risen high, and still they hadn't come. Began to fear some demon had snatched them. But finally they came forth, and we sets off towards the river. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a gale arose. Thought it'd tear my head off. And those damn birds, swarms of them coursing o'er the woods, raising a racket to make your ears bleed. Mrs. Anna screamed, bent over into herself. Tamara knelt down, gripped her arms. 'Twere then I saw it. Fiery marks on her hands.
What marks?
These, well, like burned on with hot iron. On the palms, inside.
Burned? Like a cattle brand?
Aye, though these wasn't black scars scabbed over. They's hot and glowing, as if they burned with raw fire.
Fine. What happened next?
Grew even darker. Seemed someone had put out the stars. Crickets all went silent of a sudden, and then, from the woods, a roar. Broke out in a cold sweat, and before I could catch my breath, a beast jumped out of the woods, big as a barn, with horns and 2 burning coals for eyes. I thought I was done for. Beast attacked Mrs. Anna's horse, ripped its head off, carried her off into the woods. Our horses, mine and Miss Tamara's, got spooked and tore off willy-nilly. 'Twere the only reason we escaped.
The miss wanted to go back for her mother, but my wife pleaded, said she'd die out there alone.
Hã?
Miss Tamara agreed not
Mas
to
minha
go.
mamãe implorou até que ela prometeu que não ia? Minha esposa, velho. A minha mamãe. Oxe. Que tradução é essa, velho?
Why help them at all? You risked a lot.
I'd a debt. Owed Miss Tamara. 3 moons passed, a fever gripped my boy. We thought he was done for. Tamara alerted, brought food and salves. We're poorer than dirt itself. She saved my boy. No 2 ways about it. Me, myself, I'd have never dared to help. But my missus told me a time of war and contempt's come, a time of folk gone wrong. We needs to repay good with good. Who stands by idly does evil as if.
Married a wise woman.
Indeed.
Crying shame we couldn't save Mrs. Anna in the end.
Thanks for your help.
The lady. She'll be all right in the end, won't she?
I'll do what I can to see that she is.
Bom, então o que é que a gente tem? Tamara tá em Oxenfurt, na casa do irmão desse cara. E Ana, um monstro pulou da floresta e capturou ela. Se matou, se não matou, não sabemos, né? Mas agora tipo, a gente meio que perdeu a pista de Ana, né? A gente sabe onde Tamara tá.
So here our paths diverge. Thank you, Dea. Go in peace.
Aí primeiro a gente vai em Oxenfurt para ver se existe alguma pista lá do que aconteceu. Mas isso fica pro próximo. Valeu!